In the previous video, I have demoed how to use IntelliJ to debug the light router instance in a standalone mode. This time, I'm gonna create a Docker container and using the Docker to do the remote debugging. Sometimes, in most cases, you should use the standalone debugging because you have everything in control within your IDE. And you can just debug the application as a standalone POGO application, which is very easy. However, sometimes when you package your application into a Docker container, because the Docker network is a little bit different than the operating system network, so sometimes your application not work exactly like what you expected. In that case, you can remotely connect to the application within the Docker container to debug remotely. This time, I'm going to show you how to debug remotely. The first step, you need to create a Docker container with debug agent injected. So let's take a look at the Docker file debug. You can see I'm using OpenJDK 11.3 Slim. And the command is you are using -agent lib jdwp transport. The most important thing is the address *5005, and then you can specify the config folder using /config with the -jar server .jar. So basically, you have a specialized Docker container, and you need to create this Docker container locally using a Docker build command. I will show you the build command later on, and to see how you build this container. First, I will just connect to the Docker. Okay. This is the way you start the Docker debug. I'm using Docker Compose up. Let me see if the Docker Compose is using the we need to make sure the Docker Compose is using the debug container. Okay. So let me show you the Docker Compose command. This is in the light config test, that repository I showed you in the previous video. I'll show you where is it. And in the light router, we have local open banking. Within the open banking, we have two different Docker Compose. One is a Docker Compose YAML using the latest light router Docker container image. And the next one is Docker Compose debug. We are using the debug container. So we have to start with the Docker Compose debug. Let's go to the Docker Compose -f Docker Compose debug.yaml up. Let's start this, and you can see the container started and post the message here, listening for port transport DT socket at address 05005, which meaning we are waiting for the connection from the IDE. So let's make this go to the IDE. Within the IDE, you can go to the edit configuration, and you can see we have this remote debug already configured here. What we need to do is we just simply need to attach to remote JVM, select from this debug mode, and you can use localhost port numbers 5005, which is defined in the Docker file. And the command line argument for the remote JVM will be -agent lib star colon 5005. This is exactly what is set up in the Docker file. And the use module class path is like router, so we can get all the source code. So this is we've already got this done. So what we need to do is we can start from here, debug remote, and you can see we are connecting to the remote Docker container. If we go back to the terminal, oh, no port number is available. Okay, sorry. I have another session still up, so we need to shut down the other session. Let's stop this, and then we can start that again. Yeah. So let's do it again. Go back to IDE, and this time let's debug remote. We go back to the terminal, and you can see we got server bounding okay, and now the HTTP server started at 8443, so it's working. Let's go to the browser again, so we can test if the application is still running as expected. Let's click the login button and let's log in. And we sign in. See, we have some endpoints set up here already in the stateless auth handler. And you can see we have authorization endpoint reached. So let's go to next. And let's go back to the browser again, and let's try to deny. It will go to the stateless handler again to remove the cookies. And we can see, go back to the, see, it's exactly the same like we got this stateless auth handler breakpoint. Let's debug into it, and you can see we are going to the deny path, remove the cookie, and the exchange. And then we got another, which is a deny. After we got that, we got deny. Come here, remove, go. When we go back to the browser, we can see all the cookies are removed. We can try the happy path again. Let's go. And we click accept. When we use accept, you can see we have the access token here. And the reference token, CSRF token, as well as user ID. We have all the information in the cookie, and now we can hit the menu, and we can get the API invoked. The API invocation will hit this again. Let's try to let it go. And we got a result back. Let's do this again. Sorry. Try to hit this list again. Let's use this, a filter. Select the account number and hit filter. And we got something back immediately. So you can see, like, we can set up debug, and we in the other session I can walk you through the entire processing in the stateless out handler. It's very complicated because there are so many interactions between two different React applications and the proxy to the backend APIs. So in this video, I'm just focused on the remote debugging. Yeah, that's all. Thanks. Bye-bye.